Another thing I want to share with you guys, whichever country you're from and coming to China and trying to find your opportunities here, either you already have some jobs or looking for some temporary job or permanent jobs here as a younger generation of foreign expats. 20 years ago, when I spent my time overseas, I was as young as you people with all the respects to the foreign cultures. We were humble Chinese, and we were learning from the European traditions, the freedoms, and the democracy which the European education can grant to us, which was really generous. Recent years, when I see younger generation people came to China, pretty much adopted Chinese culture in one hand, but on the other hand, they refuse to adopt such as the languages or courtesies. I should have to say, some Europeans are still having this supremacy from then colonization spirits, and they think that the Chinese knows nothing. They think the Chinese is just ridiculous and putting a lot of labels against us. I believe those just a minor group of people who had some frustrations in China. Undeniable, this system might not suit for everyone in every political understandings here in China. But for sure, China opened our heart to embrace everything and welcome the international society here, and hoping that the expats can contribute to our society and may offer lots of things much more constructive so that we can learn from the other cultures, have a mutual understanding. Though the younger generation of Chinese, especially the rich class, had some uncivilized behaviors here or overseas, but in general, majority Chinese people are humble and polite. But that's not an excuse to all the foreigners to generalize us as such, so on and so forth, putting labels on Chinese people. For lots of younger generation European youth, when you come here, it's exactly the same. When I was there 20 years ago, we don't have experiences, we don't have the skills to survive in a foreign country. So we have to learn, we have to adapt, and we have to try to gain all the experiences to power up our abilities in order to have a chance to survive there. So one of the important skills is trying to understand their culture and think in their way and try to compromise and adapt from there. Unfortunately, most of the things I've seen the foreigners adopt here pretty much sort of dictatorships or kind of brutalism. Why do I say so? I might put this word too serious, but that is a fact. One hand, China is rich from the ancient civilization and culture. On the other hand, we have to recognize that China has been through the Cultural Revolution, somewhat revolutionary spirit, stay in our blood, become a crowd, and trying to eliminate all the voices which differences from the crowds. Those are easily and simply being picked and adopted by lots of younger generation of expats here. Matter of fact, that they were even overreacted or overacting much more extremely than a Chinese person, to my understanding. They do not allow the second voice. They eliminate people, delete people from their groups whenever those people who had different opinions in discussion in the group, or if they think that management position being questioned or confronted in their groups. I was quite shocked by this. To be honest, I don't think those behaviors are mature, carrying the cultural heritage from the home country of those expats. Whichever I've seen in your countries are absolutely not like that. And I was wondering, if you go back to your country eventually some days, would you be able to adapt this or transmit this from China into your culture? Or how would you explain what on earth happened in China? Matter of fact, many of the Chinese, especially younger generation of Chinese, are no longer acting like that in the modern society. Chinese people allows even more voices, though from the media propaganda or from some kind of movement from time to time, especially in fashion or related industries or marketing industry. Expats have seen lots of these issues, patriotism and biased opinion on nationalism within younger generation of Chinese. But most of the people you have been talking with, I believe they are not like this anymore. But why do you people also adopting this behavior, even it's not as extreme as such, but somewhat executed in with the same method? This is the thing. I often feel confused about the expats here. I don't know which part of the Chinese culture you should have to adapt. But I believe in the Western tradition or in the Christian tradition, we hold great kindness within our hearts. We should not adopt something like that. Even I'm not a religious person, I got tremendous help from Christian societies. I was living in two kind of Christian residence in the US. My professors in Italy, she's a great Christian, and she donates to the UNICEF every single Christmas to kids. Lots of the Christian people helped me overseas. Even Jewish people had helped me for no reason. Many of them are great friends of mine till nowadays. Even we all became older, we still keep the best relationship. Many times we have disagreements, but we do not solve anything like that. Maybe it was because we're good friends and some people in the groups are just friends in general. But I feel that modern society, not a lot of people can keep friendship as the old era. In recent decade, I've seen a lot of frustrations and confusions from the younger generation of expats, especially in design field. I know what's happened, but not a lot of people understand it. Many expats ask me, why is like that? How does the Chinese people think? Why do they think about this? Could you explain to me? I'm trying to understand the mentality of Chinese. But when I explain to them, most of the time they're so impatient. I didn't say anything, but I feel it's super, super insulting. It was you people asking me about it when I explained it. Even you cannot understand based on your knowledge and understanding. If you just think, what if you're in my position? What do I think? So that you can understand better. If you refuse to do this, you will never understand why. Even I can patiently explain to you thousands of times. So the reason I started this channel to share my experiences to the others is not just only share my experiences to Chinese people. I would like to share in general to everybody, to youth who came to China looking for opportunity, to Chinese youth who planning to go overseas or just return from overseas countries, but can still have a lot of questions. Why can't I melt into the society again? How can it adapt? How could I get it succeed in these Chinese elements? I think this is not only a Chinese issue, it's a global issue. So that's why I started this channel to share my experiences to everybody. But unfortunately, in this difficult time, I cannot team up a lot of people to help me to translate everything into English. Since majority people I would share initially with Chinese, so I started channel with in Chinese. If anybody would willing to learn Chinese, it's a good opportunity to learn Chinese even as listening materials, because many foreigners do not have enough opportunities to practice your Chinese with everybody, especially everybody is quarantined at home. But if you really don't willing to understand anything in Chinese, so please be patient. We would have a program gradually being translated into English, but that takes a slow speed because we have only limited sources and capacities on this. What I want to share with you guys, and I believe when people are really willing to understand and learn, they would find something useful and constructive to help them to establish themselves in China. But if you don't, just ignore it. In any terms, we have freedom to express ourselves, and we have freedom to refuse to listen to anything. Yeah, that's about it.